list. I would just love for you to share. You came to OZworks Group because you have an opportunity zone project in mind. I would love for you to share like when you came in, like what your problems were, why you chose to be a part of our group, and then the transition of how you got to where you are today.
Okay. So yeah, I guess, you know, first of all, going back last year, I think I started hearing about you because I was listening to Jimmy Atkinson's podcast. And that's how you got on my radar, because I did a couple investments last year as an LP in opportunity zone funds just from going to that pitch day that he was hosting. And then I realized coming into this year, I'm like, you know, I wouldn't mind doing a fund of my own, but obviously it's complex. And so I'm not a company, I'm an individual. And so it was like, I didn't have any resources or really anything to lean on. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I don't know where I started. I think I reached out to it might've been OzPro first, because ultimately I found this land to buy. And so I decided that I was never going to figure out how to set it up as an opportunity zone myself. So I did their done for you package with Ashley Tyson. And as soon as I did that, of course, I just took it like a fire hose because I didn't know anything about how to set it up. And even after I set it up, like what to do then, compliance, I didn't know anything. And I realized that there's a lot more questions, and they steered me towards OZworks, saying you had this thing, which was amazing for me because, as you can imagine, I don't know what to expect, but I envision other companies have like hordes of people running around and everybody's got different jobs and people figure things out. But when you're one person and there's no one in the office to say, what do we do about this? What do we do about that? I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. So to find a group of opportunity zone nerds, no offense.
None taken.
Yeah, that was what I was looking for. And that was what I found here with OZworks, which has been amazing because honestly, I've been able to pull together what I don't think I would have ever been able to pull together otherwise by buying my land, which had complications, which I won't get into too much, but you know a little bit about how it was less than half opportunity zone. So I needed help with figuring out how to sort that out. I talked to Chris Cooley, hooked me up with Ashley Tyson again, and we all basically were able to put a brain trust together of several smart people, which again, you know, when it comes to this kind of stuff, you can get one person's opinion, but then I'm thinking, well, one person's opinion is one person's opinion. And what happens 10 years from now when I get audited and somebody tells me I did it wrong? So it was really nice to have more of a brain trust operation where they did what did you guys call it? Where you put me on the hot seat?
Oh yeah. The hot seat strategy session.
The hot seat strategy session. So you put me on the hot seat, which I think I was the first one to go through that, but it was actually exactly what the doctor ordered, exactly what I needed, because it put me in touch with several other people who were interested in my project, and I got different opinions of how to handle it. Long and short of it is I'm pretty sure I got it figured out. And so now I'm able to focus on the business I'm trying to create instead of just the legalities behind it. And it makes me sleep at night because I feel pretty confident that I set up my opportunity zone, my QOF, my QOZB, the proper way, which I'm sure I would have screwed it up if I tried to do it on my own. There's no way I would have done it, which is one of the kind of frustrating things about the whole opportunity zone legislation is just for one individual to come and open a QOF and do everything right there's a lot to it, you know? So to have a group like this, I can't put a value on it.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that the opportunity zones are great in terms of like, it's for everybody. It truly is, but you do have to have the people to help you make sure you're doing it properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about your project, because most people think of opportunity zones as stuffy real estate deals and that sort of thing, but yours is completely different and super cool. And I'm super excited about it. So talk a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. You know, and again, I was a commodity trader for 30 years and I came here to Chattanooga thinking I would probably try and do a stuffy real estate deal like a multifamily or something just to sort of, you know, do something. And anyway, I landed in this, you know, the world has a way of going and that you never would have guessed, but I found this chunk of land, which is like less than an hour from my house, that was not really appropriate for any kind of multifamily, not appropriate for residential, not appropriate for any of that, which is one of the reasons why the land itself was so cheap. But what I realized was this whole Airbnb STR thing has kind of taken off, especially with COVID and whatever. And what's unique about this land is it has natural beauty with cliffs and waterfalls and rivers. And it's a place where you probably wouldn't build residential housing, but I'm going to build a geodesic dome, like glamping area, which I don't really like the word glamping, but whatever. It's going to be very nice domes with outdoor showers and decks and beautiful views and overlooking cliffs with amazing views and rivers with swimming holes and hiking and all that. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm doing it on my property, which was 450 acres. 95 of the acres are opportunity zone. Fortunately for me, the 95 acres are the best 95 acres, the most scenic 95 acres. So I'm essentially going to concentrate 98% of everything I do in the 95 acres of opportunity zone land. And this is new to me. Like I say, I was a commodity trader, so it's not like it's something I have any experience with, but just from some looking at other similar, there's a couple other places that have done these domes or whatever. And I can tell you they're completely booked and you can't get one. They're very expensive. So it seems like a fun project. It seems like it has a lot of economic potential, and, I'm looking forward to something different in life to keep me busy. So that's what I'm focusing on.
Yeah. And I love that it's such a different idea than what we talk about most of the time in OZworks Group. And there's nothing wrong with the other deals at all, but I love the creativity because it really opens the opportunities up for people that are doing something different that would never have considered opportunity zones.
And it's true, the opportunity zone is definitely one of the motivating factors that I probably wouldn't be doing this otherwise if it wasn't for that. And, at the end of the day, it's going to do what the program is intending, because I'm going to be employing local individuals in a rural area. It's in Sequatchie Valley, Tennessee, and there's a couple very small towns around, but I'm going to definitely be having all the local talent in the area that wants to be working there. So that's going to be kind of interesting.
Well, I am personally looking forward to it because you're right. Those other places are booked up and expensive. And I have been trying to personally get into them for years because I am a glamper, and I'm totally cool with that word because I need air conditioning and protection from the outdoors, but I still want to see it. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So if you had to tell the people out looking for opportunity zones that are clueless and new to this and need assistance, what would be the one thing that you wish you could tell them about the one little snippet about OZworks Group?
I would say, first of all, don't shy away from doing an opportunity zone deal, even if you're a small group or an individual, but definitely need to take it seriously, and you need to hook up with OZworks Group, because if you think you're just going to file Form 8996 and go on your merry way and everything's going to work out, there's a lot more to it than that. And so unless you're an expert on the topic, you need guidance, and you can get that in OZworks Group. I don't know another way to get it. I'm sure you can read the regulations, which I think are 480 something pages or 500 pages. I've tried a couple times and it was a good way to fall asleep at night, but I prefer being on a group like OZworks and having somebody break it down for me. I can't tell you how valuable it is. And so I appreciate everything they've done, but absolutely would recommend it.
And Matt, I just want to give you kudos also, because not only are you present and here and in our community, but you show up. Like, you are in every Friday peer support, you're in the compliance zone, you show up to everything, you ask your questions, and you make sure that you're interacting to get your information. So that's like a key, right? You can sit in the background, but if you hadn't shared with us what you're working on, no one would have known how to help you. So
that's for sure. I know, no offense to anybody, but I know there's some people that you see on there that have their video off and they're in the background and never really say anything. And maybe they already know everything they need to know, but I guarantee you, if I didn't kind of jump out there and be like, hey, I need to, what do I do about this or that? I never would have got answers. So yeah, you definitely, but you make this platform available to be able to do that. Like, anybody could jump on, and you always are asking, does anybody have an issue that we need to hash out? We could do it in front of everybody. So
yeah. So was that scary? Was that hard, doing the hot seat in front of the whole world on a Friday?
The thing was when we did my hot seat, I didn't know going into it that day that that's what we were going to do. So I didn't have any time to worry about it. If somebody said, Matt, tomorrow we're doing a hot seat, I might be like, uh-oh. You know, I might have probably been like, okay, I got to get my ducks in a row and figure out my questions or whatever, but I didn't have any time. And so I just was able to just genuinely talk about my project and say, here's where I'm stuck and here's what I need to figure out. So no, it was no problem. It was great.
Cool.
It was actually, it was unexpected, to be honest, because I didn't think that I was going to get the attention of multiple experts on the topic to be able to chime in and say, hey, here's what you need to do.
Yeah, we have some of the smartest people I've ever met in
Yeah.
this group. I mean, it is tremendous. Some of the information, like it's a real ego kicker some days because I walk out of meetings like, well, I have no idea what they just said at all. But I know for opportunity zone, project owners, fund owners, even investors, it's invaluable. You can't pay for that kind of information. And that's sort of attention either. Well, I am certainly glad you're here.
I was going to say, even if you did pay for it, you're going to be talking to one person and getting one person's opinion.
Yeah. And it's going to, and you have a limit.
Brings is, I think, having multiple opinions, because I was able to present my problems and then have these guys were arguing amongst themselves about saying, yeah, but what about this? What about, you know, so think about having experts and I'm just sitting back listening as they are debating the merits of which way I should handle it. That's unique.
And we have some of the smartest people in opportunity zones, and they still don't necessarily agree on some of the tax code and compliance stuff. So it is a good place to be, because when things come down, we have it immediately available to us. So that's always awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I appreciate you. I'm so glad you remember. I'm so glad I've had the opportunity to get to know you. I'm so glad I'm going to come and stay in one of your geodesic domes when they're up.
So I'm going to have an OZworks reunion there. We'll just have everybody, I'll block it out for that weekend.
That sounds excellent. Well, thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate you.
No problem, Emily. Thank you.